A warm welcome at PAF, the Process Analytics Factory. Very glad that you joined this session, which is designed for Power BI users who already found out that there is a free version of PAFnow, process mining, available in App Stores. And with this session, we'd like to give you some more background information and also make you excited about PAFnow process mining. But also let me share that we of course share the passion you have with Power BI, Power Platform and Power Automate, of course. Some more information about PAFnow at the beginning. Just two things I'd like to share with you. First is PAFnow is a product, a software product developed for Power BI. And we try to build in the experience from around 300 process mining projects we did for the last couple of years. And at the same time, PAFnow is founded and supported by more than 5 million grant from German government. And we very much work on innovation and research type of topics with leading universities around process mining and artificial intelligence, as well as process mining and robotic process automation. One of the key questions you might have still is the question, what is process mining? So process mining is a great tool-based method helping you to automatically reconstruct and visualize your as-is processes. So the benefit is you don't have to have a process model designed, you don't have to have a process model description, you even don't need any a priori knowledge about your as-is processes or your processes, how they were executed. PAFnow automatically reconstructs the processes and gives you all the insights and information and the knowledge you need in order to find out how you really execute your processes and how cases are executed across the organization. If we look one step further and talk about for a second about the importance of business process moving forward, given the time we are in, and we talk disruptive business models, digitalization, we talk about transformation, I think it's a great asset to have lean, effective, efficient, cost-efficient processes in place because it could make a difference to your success and the success of your company. That's why the importance of process is something which Forrester calls a competitive weapon or could be a competitive key differentiator for you. PAFnow in process mining is such a technology helping you to make those type of processes efficient, effective, and cost-effective. But let me share one more, which is really driving us from the beginning when we started PAF as a company. If you look into your organization, and if we look into a lot of organizations every day, so what we see is that every company is looking into their business processes. Internal auditors do this because they like to make sure that processes are against their compliance regulatory requirements. People in lean operational excellence do this in order to get lean and more efficient processes in place. Then you have IT guys looking into processes before and after and during they migrate, for example, from SAP R3 to S/4HANA systems. Business process management teams are looking into business processes because they like to make sure processes are standardized and harmonized. So to make it short, we believe that process mining is a gold standard which will help all the companies around the world every day to have really good insights into business processes and can directly start to improve processes every day. And that's why we believe process mining is a gold standard and helping you every day to really get there. There always was and still is a key question before companies start their process mining journey. And the question is, what type of data do I really need? There is a very easy and simple answer. So what you need is a unique case ID. A unique case ID, for example, is a claims number which is automatically given by your claim system if a consumer calls the insurance organization to open a claim. Or it's a mortgage number if you start a mortgage process in your bank. Or it's a purchase order number if you create a purchase order before the purchase order is sent to the supplier. So what you see is that those type of unique case IDs are stored in your IT system, in your database, and you can simply use them. Second information needed is the activity name. This is something which we all used as a name we took into a process model when we start to describe or to define business processes. So like create purchase order, approve invoice, those type of words we used to make everyone understand a business process model we were writing down on a paper or we were used, for example, for Visio to document processes. And the third information we need is the timestamp. And the timestamp talks about who did what and when. In the combination of the unique case ID, the activity name and the timestamp is allowing PAFnow to automatically reconstruct and visualize all your end-to-end processes. It's always nice to have a lot of attributes uploaded to PAFnow as well, because if you have country organizations, plans, material groups, supplier information, currency values like euro or US dollar type of information available as well, then you can use those type of information to look into specific processes by plant, by country organization, and you can even start to benchmarking different units in your organization against each other. But what if we now have a look into PAFnow to see how it looks in a process mining application? All right, now let's have a look at PAFnow in Power BI. What you can already see is a process model which had been automatically reconstructed and visualized based on SAP data. So we talk a purchase to pay process here, starting with a purchase order created, 3 approval steps, as well as the post goods received and invoicing part of the process. And what you can already see is that we always visualize the most critical KPIs also between the process model or inside the flow chart. So for example, here, if you look at the step between approval level 1 and 2, we see that 565 cases went this route. In average, it took 6 minutes and 23 seconds to get from approval level 1 to 3. But we also see that in some cases, we have a red color involved. So what we try to do is we like to help you to directly see where the bottleneck in your business process is involved and compare to other variants of the process here in this steps between post-invoice, pay-invoice or post-goods receive post-invoice. It takes much longer compared to the purchasing part of the process here. You could say, hey, but this is a very simple process model, and so I could have maybe even designed it myself on a flip chart. Yes, I agree, but of course, we just look at a friction of the process model, which is really in use. And if I use a slider to see more variants of my process, for example, I see that there are also process steps going around approval level 2 and 3, directly from approval level 1 into post goods received. And if I want to understand what I'm doing here, I can also use include more information into my flow chart. Like I can see the duration histogram telling me what was the average duration and the histogram about my throughput time. I see the most frequent plants who are behind those type of variants or using this variant of the process more often. I also see the most frequent resources to the right on top, but I also see an average bottleneck score indicating that the probability that cases are not executed directly after approval level 1 into post goods received is 41%. So it's a bottleneck score helping you to really better identify potential areas of bottlenecks in your organization and in your process. Of course, I can use, again, the slider to see more variants of my process. So I can use it to visualize more variants over time and can, of course, increase the complexity. And, as I promised, or as we promised with PAFnow, of course, we can visualize 100% of all your cases in process variants. So it is like this. Some people say it looks like a spaghetti picture. But of course, this is the way companies execute their cases across the organization. What we also visualize is that in average, it takes 29 days for the whole P2P process across all the countries, all the plants, and all the 4 years of data we have here. But I can, of course, also filter in. And for example, if I want to see what was my duration time in 2014, I just select the year, and you see the PAFnow Process Explorer automatically adapts or changes. And it also calculates automatically the duration time, lead time in this year 2014 was 48 days. Maybe there was some change in the process, some automation, bots were implemented and some changes made. And then you want to find out if in 2015 the duration time improved. And of course you can simply click on 2015. Then again, you see the process is much leaner and it had some positive impact. The duration time was down from 48 to 18 days. So you see that you can already see those type of implications and benefits in your process model, but you can also see the critical KPIs here. You can also get more attributes in your data. Like if you want to see your business process based on material groups, of course you can select those material groups, and now we look on a P2P process which was executed only in this V1C material group area or in other material groups of the company. Or you can also go further, drill down to purchase organizations, to countries, whatever attributes you have in your data available, you can use in order to simply visualize your process models and like this. But it also works, and this is the power of PAFnow, the other way around. If you now look on the 100% picture and see that there's a case taking a very, very long time between two process steps here, so I'm talking this one taking 348 days. What you can do is you can, of course, now filter in, can include, so filter into this specific case, and you see the process flow for this case which took so long. You also see the bottleneck now more clear. And what you also see is that it was a case in 2012, it was in this material group, it was in this purchase organization, it was in Germany, and it was the vendor 20 which was involved. So you get a lot more information about the problem charts in your process. But if this information is not enough for you, you want to see more details, so feel free to switch the visualization here to the case viewer and get the case overview down on purchase orders on item level, including all the attributes which might be important for you. So what you see here is PAFnow is really able to visualize 100% of your business processes or all the variants involved, but also comes with a capability to make a drill down on case level, even on item level. We get a lot of questions from customers who see their business processes based on their data like this the first time. And one of the most asked questions is, now do I have a problem with my processes if I have a process model in real practice like this? I think a sales guy would say yes, but I think an honest answer is it depends. And even better, you can find out in PAFnow with 2 clicks. That's why we have embedded in PAFnow the experience from a couple of hundred of process mining projects, and we try to help you to really get your process insights by just clicking in PAFnow instead of building dashboards. So we wanted to make it very easy for you to find problematic patterns in your business process instead of building dashboards and searching for it. And how easy it is to find the pattern behind problematic process variants in your flowchart is like this. You simply select the variant analyzer page from PAF, and then maybe I have to explain this for a second. I'm sure you will agree that a problematic process variant might have 2 reasons. First is you have a couple of manual process steps involved, which also indicates a low automation rate. But you can also have a variant which has a very long duration time. And if the 2 patterns come together, that might be variants to have a look at more in detail. And you simply can do this. So I select cases or variants here with more than 6 process steps, indicating a lot of manual work. I also select process variants with a long duration time. And then what happens is that a PAFnow root cause analyzer is telling me with a push at a button that those type of problems in variants are mostly happening in plant 900, but also some of them in plant 260, where vendor 20 is playing a major role. So what you see here is that you can use PAFnow not just to get a visualization of your as-is process, but you can also go further and see the root cause analysis and see the reasons for process problems or patterns or rework or bottlenecks. And you can do this with a click at a button. Now this was, let's say, the part 1 of PAFnow I wanted to share with you, which is more like the discovery capability, which you can find also with a free version of PAFnow in App Stores. But let me talk about another topic which is very central in process mining and in helping understand processes in order to improve, which is the benchmarking and the difference analysis. And benchmarking is very nicely designed, and the concept behind it is like this. Just imagine you have 2 country organizations, and you know one of those country organizations are the stars in P2P and other ones are the problem charts in your organization. So you could, for example, go to a specific plant or country. In this example, we use a vendor, and I want now to compare vendor 1 with whatever vendor 15. I select the vendor 15 data, and I see that here in plant 1 or with vendor 1, the super time is 46 days, while here to the right, here we talk 55 days. So you can very nicely compare specific business processes which should be the same in all countries across the world, but the execution is happening very differently, and you can start comparing that. In some cases, we had customers saying, hey, this is great and this is cool, but comparing 2 attributes to each other is not enough. We like to have a group of attributes we like to compare with each other. And that's why we introduced the difference analysis in PAFnow recently, allowing you to see, of course, more patterns in different categories. So like here, we now have selected 3 plants, and of course, it's not a problem at all. I can select 2 or 3 more, which I'm quickly doing here. And then you see that PAFnow is visualizing my P2P processes next to each other based on the plant. And what I can easily see is that here, the plant 250 with the red color has a very lean process model, and they execute P2P cases like this, while those in blue, which are from plant 260, or those in black from 230, have a more complex process in place. Since we talk to Power BI users often, let me introduce how easy it is to change the visualization if you want to. Just to give you an idea, we often hear customers saying, we don't know why PAF is visualizing process flows top-bottom. We typically do this left-right. So 2 clicks and you can see your processes left-right. So feel free to do it if you want like this, if you're used to see your process flows in a different way. Or you could also easily say, and I would say, yes, you're right, that it's difficult to really understand the differences between those type of different process models on the different plants. So what you can do is you can say, okay, I don't want to see it side by side. I want to see the unique highlight. I want to see what is my process pattern, which is the same or it's different behind my process model. And what you can see here is with the gray color, this is the joint common pattern across all the plants. So a lot of cases, or most of the cases, go like this, indicated with a gray or black color. But you see that 260 is having very unique different variants of the process they use. And now you can see the common patterns, but also the unique different patterns, and can start analyze why are we doing things so different in plant 260 compared to all other plants. So it gives you a great starting point to internal benchmarking and finding out how you can best improve your business processes. But still here we talk about an internal benchmark. So we don't have external data, or we don't have a document with a process model or best practice models which we use. So we look on internal data and compare systems or plants or countries next to each other. If you want to use best practice models or process models which had been documented, like we use often, for example, in Visio, where we implement an ideal should-be process model, which is visualized here to the left. So this is a Visio model starting with a purchase order creation, purchase order, approval level steps, post-goods received, and invoicing process. This is the ideal world. And here in the middle, we have the PAFnow Process Explorer showing that in reality, it doesn't look like I had designed my process. And if I want now to see the difference, of course I can click on my Visio model and can see that if I select the purchase order creation, I would have expected after the purchase order creation, there would be a process step following called approved purchase order level 1. And in reality, I see that in the middle, of course, it happens like this. But I also see that there are 4 different process steps following instead of only this one I have designed. Or I can also go further and look into post-invoice and would expect that after post-invoice, there's always and only the payment of the invoice, but I see here, no. I even have some post-goods received after I posted the invoice, or I would expect that after the payment of the invoice, the process would end. And the answer is no, it is not ending. There are post-goods received process steps following. So what I can do is here I can see if my process model, as it is designed, is also executed and used in an organization like this. And we have a lot of large consulting organizations using PAFnow in a lot of different customer situations. And they tell us that they struggle a little bit in getting the process models. So I'm talking about the should-be process models, the document process models, and from their customers, because sometimes they are not actual. In other cases, they have different tools they use, or the modeling is on a different level as the level is here in PAFnow process mining. So they feel a bit challenged in order to bring the should-be models into a process mining application. And that's why we started to come up with a very interesting data-driven conformance check capability, which I want to quickly also introduce to you. If you look at those process models, we can already see that there is a specific variant in the process, which is the most frequent one, which has a lot of cases. So this is the green one, the 471 cases are on this variant. I can select this one, and then PAFnow can tell me how many cases are really like this compared to the rest of my organization. So almost 50% of all cases run like this. And if I look into the details of it, I could say, hey, if every case, every purchase order, or every post invoice, every invoice would execute it like this in my organization, I would be happy. That's why we call this most frequent pattern often happy flow. What I can do now is I can say, okay, I want to activate my conformance check. And with a click on this thumbs up button, I simply say to PAFnow, use this one now as my best practice model to compare all the other variants in my process to this one. And if I now select variant number 2, PAFnow automatically delivers me the information which I'm looking for, which is the difference between variant number 2 and 1. And I see here with a yellow marked labeled cases or process steps in approval level 2 and 3, those process steps are missing in variant number 2. And I see also there's a variant going around, of course, but I also see a loop here in approval level 1, helping me to understand there is a rework or maybe a bottleneck, which is an indication I get. I can also filter on the top 5 variants in my process and see my conformity rate is 71%. With a green color, I can still see my best practice model, which I have quickly designed, or not designed, I even clicked it or defined it. And with the red color and the yellow color, I see the missing and the wrong running cases and variants in my process. So this is another great capability, the conformance check capability and the benchmarking I wanted to also introduce to you, because we believe this is a very important capability in every process mining application moving forward. And this is the third one I like to introduce to you. And I want to talk for a second about the importance of automating business processes. There's a huge effort in the market which is called RPA, Robotic Process Automation, which is a fast-growing business, same as process mining. And of course, we get a lot of customer questions around how can I really find out which process steps in my end-to-end process are potential candidates for robotic process automation. And the answer is in your data. You can use your operational data in your operational systems to find out. That's why we have also created an automation analyzer dashboard, which works on any data set, on any end-to-end process, really helping you to understand where you can use bots to automate your business process. What you can also see in the process flow chart is that we also changed it a little bit towards the automation requirements. So what you can see here is that, for example, the post-invoice process steps has a percentage, which is 23%, and it's labeled in green because if a company sets a threshold and says, every process step which is an automation rate beyond 20%, please label it in a green color. PAFnow does it automatically for you, while those cases which have a lower percentage in automation are maybe labeled in a black or in a red color as you wish. So this is one way of using PAFnow. So you can use the visualization capability, the Process Explorer. For automation purposes, you can also see trends. You see that the trend in automation rate is going up, but you had also different peaks. You can see which step in the process has which automation rate. So for example, here post-invoice is a little bit automated, same with the other process steps, but all the other steps are simply still manual, and the automation rate over the end-to-end process is 3.4% only. So you could say, hey, there's a great opportunity to automate my processes, and the question is how to do it. And we wanted to give you now also an idea how you can easily start actions from insights to use bots, workflow automation, machine learning, and data alerts to really turn insights into actions. Just imagine you go to the office on Monday morning and you see that there are a couple of purchase orders not created, so they are overdue after the purchase requests were already approved. And you also know that your bot is trained and up and running and available to take over those approved purchase requests to turn them into purchase orders automatically. But for whatever type of reason, no one really pushed those type of purchase requests to the bot. So what you can do in PAFnow is you can see all the open cases, and in this example here to the left, you can select open cases, then you can select overdue cases, and PAFnow root cause analyzer is telling you who to send those type of overdue purchase orders, which are listed here. So you can even see the purchase order numbers here. And the name of the person to help you on this is maxmustermann.ema.com. So you type in maxmustermann.ema.com and start the action plan. And in the background, PAFnow is sending Max Mustermann now all the open cases, the purchase orders which are overdue, and he can take those actions, can take it further to the bot, or you could also start an action plan and sending those type of cases directly to the bot. And of course, in practice, in reality, we wouldn't start those type of cases from PAFnow. Of course, it would run totally in the background, so no human manual interaction needed and involved. But I wanted to demonstrate that, of course, you can use all the Power Platform components like Power Apps, which is here, Power Automate, which is the step afterwards, and also Power BI and PAFnow in order to really improve your business processes straight away after you have some insights and some problems indicated and identified. So this is a great way to really see how PAFnow is nicely integrated in the Power Platform concept and really helps you not just to get smarter, but also to start improving your business processes straight away after the discovery of your process details. Now let's look into use cases and also the question, what type of problems PAFnow and process mining typically solve in organizations? I hope you enjoyed the live demo as much as I did. And as you can see, we really share the passion about Power BI and the opportunity given to build a state-of-the-art process mining application into Power BI. Let me share that it is super easy for you to start with process mining in Power BI because you don't even have to install it. It's like an built-in app. You can start straight away and you can so easily get all the value from your data through Power BI and PAFnow. And even better, you can also get a strong ROI from your data because you can turn all the insights and take them into actions directly. Let me describe 3 or 4 examples how to do this. So for example, we have a lot of customers who are eager to share process mining reports across the organization. And of course you can do it. Just think about Power BI, Power Platform, Office 365 integration. Of course you can share process mining reports very easily through Teams and SharePoints with your viewers across the company. Or think about the idea of combining process mining with project management. Of course you can do, for example, with Asana or with Jira. Or think about directly starting actions in applications to get cases speed up and process more effectively. Why don't you combine process mining insights and start actions in your Dynamics application, in your Salesforce application, in your ServiceNow application? And even better, you can also use PAFnow Insights in order to start improvements in your processes through machine learning, through workflow automation, through robotic process automation, and you can do this straight away. Maybe there is still one question at the table, and the question is, what problem do we solve with process mining and why is it so important? So let me try to give you 3 answers today. So first is, I'm sure you have been part of those type of workshops yourself. I was, and to be honest, I have to admit, we got some information by interviews and workshops. We had the key users involved and they shared some information they wanted to share. But we never found out the truth. We never got 100% picture and really knew about how companies are organized, how they execute processes. So the result of those cost-intense workshops is that you get a gut feel and you have an idea, but you really don't know how processes are executed in organizations. And that's why process mining delivers such a great value to you, because it delivers you 100% picture and the real insight in all the KPIs in a fraction of the time and cost involved compared to interviews and workshops. Second reason why process mining is delivering great value to you is, I'm sure you have some type of processes documented, like in Visio or other tools. But the problem with those type of process documentation is it's not actual, and it always describes the desired process flow, but never the reality. And the opportunity to compare your should-be process models or your best practice models with your as-is models and all the KPIs involved really helps you to understand how people follow structure, process in your organization. And through this, you can very easily start to harmonize, standardize, and improve business processes. The third reason why process mining is delivering great value is because, and I can share this with you because we did so many process mining projects, you will be super excited about the insights you get from a PAFnow process mining application based on your data. But you will also want to directly turn insights into actions. And that's why the combination of process mining and machine learning, data alerts, workflow automation or RPA is so important. And even better, through Power Platform from Microsoft, you have all the tools in your hands to really take PAFnow insights and turn it into automation and something which helps you to directly improve your business processes. And that's why we are very excited to see that now Microsoft is also starting to democratize not just BI, which they did in 2015 with Power BI, but now also in 2020 with RPA. So you can really link your process insights into automation by using RPA software from UiPath, Blue Prism, or of course also from Microsoft moving forward. What's next? I'm sure you share our excitement about process mining and again, the passion about Power BI. But what's next? It's very easy actually. Let me recommend to do three things. So first of all, in case you haven't downloaded your free PAFnow version from App Stores, just do it. Secondly, even in case you have not downloaded Power BI desktop, just do this from Microsoft's website. And the third thing you have to do is just take your own data and get started and make your own experience how easy, comfortable, and affordable process mining can be in Power BI. In case of questions, we are here for you. We speak 17 languages. And we are here to help you for all your technical questions. If you want to hear about best practices or use cases or about return on investments, but ROI on process mining is not such a big topic if there is a version in the market which is good and free of charge, isn't it? So let's focus on trying to make it work. And I wish you all the best in using PAFnow with your own data. Have success and fun and enjoy your PAFnow test drive. Thank you for joining this session.